Hi, this is part 3 of Danny Rowland, Serial Killer. Brought to you, of course, by True Crime, Real Criminals, a theatrical podcast I'm launching next year. We'll be discussing many of these cases, and maybe not so much these because there's nobody left to come on as a guest. But there's other cases where I'll have guests coming on discussing those crimes, those cases. For now, I'm going to tell you about Danny punk-ass Rowland. Now, Danny, when he had took his father's ear and his father's eye, he left. He left that scene of crime scene, and he went and committed a triple murder that stayed unsolved until he confessed when he was in the death chamber at Florida State Prison. It was there, that confession that he gave to the Reverend, that's when police pieced together similarities of the Gainesville slayings and this triple murder he committed in Shreveport, Louisiana. And he killed 3 people there. He killed a grandfather to a little boy and that little boy's mother. And that gentleman's name, that grandfather that he killed, where's his name at? I got his name here in my notes. That gentleman's name, he was a 55-year-old William Grissom. And his daughter, Julie, who was 24-year-old, and her 8-year-old her 8-year-old son, Sean. He murdered them 3 people after he left his father. And then he took off to Florida, where he was hiding in the woods in Ocala. They had a little camp that he made, and he was watching these students at the University of Gainesville and stealing little stuff from them that they never knew about. And the little burglaries and stuff he was doing to survive until he decided to commit these murders in Gainesville, right off the campus in this apartment complex. I don't know if he went in there attending the murder. I mean, I've met Danny several times off the road and on the road. I met him in population. And then when he got his death sentence, I went to his cell and spoke to him a couple of times because I handed out supplies to the death row prisoners. So I knew a lot of them. And then I was in the law library, so I did a lot of legal research for some of the guys. And that's how I knew Mario Lara Angel, Charlie Street once again. Another guy with my last name there, Henry.wainwright. We'll talk about his case later. Another scumbag out of North Carolina came down here and wanted to murder some people. So, in any case, Danny Rowland, living in the woods, you know, he's seen these girls, these young, beautiful women, and he decided, you know, he wanted to rape some of them. You know, because he's mentally disturbed. He ain't mentally fucking disturbed. He's a piece of shit. That's why. So he went off. He broke into their home in the early morning hours. Broke into their apartment to these 2 girls that lived together. Sonia Larson was one of them. And what was the other girl's name? I have it here. Sonia Larson and Christina Powell. They roomed together in this apartment. And one went to sleep upstairs and one was sleeping downstairs when he broke in those early morning hours. And he found Miss Powell on the couch sleeping, and he immediately taped her mouth shut and then stabbed her to death. Stabbed her to death, straight butchered her, before he went upstairs and did the same thing to Miss Larson, Sonia Larson. He murdered both these beautiful young women. This piece of shit, Danny Rowland, butchered them. And then he did something else to those bodies. And I'm going to tell you about that in the next segment. Stay tuned.